As James Gunn himself said, his script is inspired by Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the classic Frank Capra movie about a young man, leader of a group of Boy Scouts, who's brought into a position of power and influence as a U.S. Senator, and tries to push forward projects focused on the common good, like creating a camp for young boys, while defending the interests of the people in his state. Admiring the honorable position of being a senator, he soon discovers countless obstacles and comes to see the flaws of the men who build and control the political system of the great American democracy, leading the story to one of the most electrifying endings in the history of cinema. Anyone who knows Frank Capra's film can easily see the connection between the two stories. After all, what is Mr. Smith if not an extraordinarily ordinary citizen, and perhaps the Clark Kent Superman of the classical golden age of cinema?
Liberty is too precious a thing to be buried in books, Miss Saunders. Men should hold it up in front of them every single day of their lives and say, I'm free to think and to speak. My ancestors couldn't, I can. And my children will.
Both are people of the people, loved by the people, focused on the common good, and simply trying to do their best to serve others, seeking to do what's right. At first glance, many would say they're both naive, and that because of that, they end up clashing with the gears of the system and the institutional corruption of the powerful and the influential elite, people who are supposed to be noble and represent the people, but who most of the time are just looking out for themselves. In that sense, these two stories reveal a drama that anyone can face today, whether it's stopping a war and facing massive geopolitical consequences, or just trying to open a simple Boy Scout club for teenagers. We will all figure out that doing good is hard. But the truth is, the biggest barrier isn't out there in the world, but rather inside our own hearts. This is especially interesting because, as I mentioned before, a lot of people today say that Superman is boring and a hard character to write. And the movie makes the answer to that very clear. In his journey, James Gunn's Clark Kent is shown to us, from the very first minute, as someone completely well-intentioned, with a good heart, but completely vulnerable. As I was making this video, I realized I kept thinking about the movie not because of the score or the visuals or whatever, but because Superman is more than just a comic book character. He is a true symbol of hope that shows us it's worth it to look up and reach for higher things. He's not just an alien or some flying thing, and certainly not in it, but rather an ordinary human person that has friends, has to pay bills, settle arguments with his girlfriend, and 22 calls from his mom to answer. This Superman isn't just an ideal. He's not just a symbol. He's a regular, ordinary person, which means we can be him. Superman scares us and might push some people away because he challenges us. He shows what we humans can be, what we are called to be, and what we are called to choose to be genuinely good. And that, as I know you probably agree with me, is very challenging. It's no surprise that the people around him struggle with the same thing. It's so easy to stay stuck in the comfort zone of human mediocrity. You just have to stay where you are. We ourselves can get lost in our own lives, like the not yet superheroes who just wanted to get rid of a problem, or like Lois Lane, closed off, unwilling to open herself to love and real human connection, or even like Jimmy Olsen, who just uses his source to get what he needs, taking advantage of her emotional vulnerability. And that's why Superman literally faces a mechanized copy of himself in the final battle. The mechanized machine against what is genuinely human. Very often, so do we end up facing the worst version of ourselves. Every time we look in the mirror every day and see our closed off, bitter face, our selfishness, our flaws, our corruption, our dark side. But amidst everything against us, when it feels like we're about to lose the battle and give in to the easier path to benefit only ourselves, Superman is here to remind us that we can still do the right thing. and choose the path of loving our neighbor, even with all odds stacked against him. In all his anger, being crucified, chased, hunted down, and unfairly accused by the very people he defended and saved without asking for anything in return. Superman makes a choice to take risks, be open and vulnerable, to believe in and search for the good in people, seeing not just who they are now, but who they can become, even if when they can't see it in themselves.
Son, don't miss the wonders that surround you. Because every tree, every rock, every anthill, every star is filled with the wonders of nature. And he used to say to me, have you ever noticed how grateful you are to see daylight again after coming through a long, dark tunnel? Well, he'd say, always try to see life around you as if you've just come out of a tunnel.
He chooses to be genuinely good and to try to be his best version every single day, no matter what. He's going to make mistakes, but he won't give up and will keep fighting every day and in every moment of his life. Not just when he's wearing the cape, but by being super in the little things too, when he shows up at work and gets criticized by his coworkers or pressured by his boss, or in the small, seemingly insignificant moments when he drinks a glass of milk, when he greets the security guard at the entrance, or when he decides to eat breakfast for dinner. And the best part is, in the eyes of the world, that means you're gonna look like a silly and naive loser. Because we often forget that doing good doesn't mean you'll get any kind of reward in this world. In fact, being a hero means that, in the world's eyes, you're going to look like a failure and will always be swimming upstream, constantly going against yourself, giving up your self-interest and sacrificing yourself for the common good.
Well, what do you expect me to do? An honorary stooge like me against the tailors and pains and machines and lies.
Your friend Mr. Lincoln had his tailors and pains. So did every other man who ever tried to lift his thought up off the ground. Odds against him didn't stop those men. They were fools that way. All the good that ever came into this world came from fools with faith like that. You know that, Jeff. You can't quit now. Not you.
Paradoxically, the beauty of the true hero's path is that he will inevitably be rejected by the world, but it's exactly through that rejection that he's forged, and his true character is revealed. Even with all the obstacles, even with the powerful playing their games, and our own ego constantly fighting back, we can still, and I insist on repeating this, look up and reach for higher values, and freely choose to do what is good and right. To look at others with kindness, to be vulnerable, to take risks, and to believe in the good that exists inside each person. To see not just who they are today, but who they can become. To go beyond what even they see in themselves. And yes, it is hard, because in this process, we destroy ourselves, but that's exactly why it is the right thing to do. Because, almost like magic, we only destroy what's bad and broken inside us, and what's left is just the good. It won't be easy, and there will always be obstacles, but it's worth it to love, to serve, and to do good, because goodness is diffusive and all-embracing. And don't worry if you've never heard those terms before. They basically mean that everyone around you is drawn to the example and actions of Superman. Lois Lane stops just questioning everything and running away from people to take a leap of faith into love, realizing how beautiful it is to open up and surrender yourself to another person. Jimmy now might have a shot to look past the shallow surface of the girl who helped him and realize that maybe he can actually offer her the affection and security she so desperately needs. And in doing so, perhaps discover a better version of himself too. And the not-yet heroes now know that being super means leaving their comfort zone, taking risks and having no limits when it comes to serving others and choosing to do good. And because of that, now they might just be ready to become the heroes who will become the first seeds of the Justice League, a place where those who suffer under the hands of the powerful, those who have no one to defend them, can finally find real hope and see that it's still possible to believe in doing good and be happy in this world. That is what it means to be a hero. That is what it means to be a contagious and truly super symbol of hope. Because actually, if we take a real look at our lives, we'll see that every action in this world has to be filled with hope. At many points in our lives, we might feel afraid. We might imagine dark scenarios in our minds. We might think we don't have the strength or the resources to keep fighting. But if we stop and reflect, hope brings all of that together and surpasses it. Hope is the vision of the good things promise. It's the visible, concrete sign of the promise, the one that allows us to see and reach even before we've actually achieved. Hope is the break in the storm clouds, the star shining in the darkness, the sunbeam that breaks through and opens the horizon so we can finally see the possibility of the happiness we so deeply long for in our hearts. Hope makes us believe that everything is going to be all right. It inspires us, gives us the motivation and the energy to keep fulfilling our duties and pursuing our goals. It is the anchor of the soul, firm and secure. It gives us joy, even in the midst of trials. It tells us that it's worth it to keep reaching for greater and higher things. And it makes our present life, even with all its suffering, feel like a light and momentary trial that's preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Hope draws us in. It transforms us from the inside. It makes us live differently, as if, through it, we had been given a new life. Superman reminds us that we need to be pilgrims of hope. And like a true superhero, he shows us that real, genuine hope is never just individual, and definitely not selfish. It is, always, also hope for others. Or, as the hero that inspired James Gunn puts it,
Just get up off the ground. That's all I ask. Get up there with that lady that's up on top of this Capitol dome. That lady that stands for liberty. Take a look at this country through her eyes if you really want to see something. Fighting so's he can stand on his own 2 feet, free and decent, like he was created, no matter what his race, color, or creed. That's what you see. There's no place out there for graft, or greed, or lies, or compromise with human liberties. And it's not too late. Because this country is bigger than the Taylors, or you, or me, or anything else. Great principles don't get lost once they come to light. They're right here. You just have to see them again. Because I wouldn't give you 2 cents for all your fancy rules if behind them they didn't have a little bit of plain, ordinary, everyday kindness. And a little looking out for the other fella, too.
we can't fly or get too close to the sun, but we can be light in the world when we live our ordinary life like superheroes, sacrificing ourselves to kill our selfishness and choosing to do good, no matter the consequences to ourselves. We can be Superman by being hidden superheroes in our daily, ordinary life. If you enjoyed this video, watch now the complete breakdown on Superman.